Bingo has a stomachache. The living room was a mess. Huh? Bluey realized Dad was about to come home. Bluey quickly looked around the messy room. Bluey started cleaning up quickly. Cleaning up too quickly caused trouble. Bingo ran in, helping to hold the box so Bluey could close the lid.
Aha!
Whoa! Time flew by. The room gradually became tidier. Dad arrived home just in time. Bluey had finished cleaning up before Dad got home.
Wow!
Building a small fence. A cool morning. The whole family stands in front of an empty patch of yard. Dad pulls out a measuring tape to check the spacing. Mom marks the spots with white chalk. Sister and little brother line up the short wooden posts. Dad grabs a hammer and drives in the first post. Thud, thud. Firm and steady. Mom holds the post, checking the balance by eye. She nods to signal it's good. Sister passes over a wooden plank. Little brother runs back and forth, handing over nails. Thud! The post tilts slightly. Mom raises her hand to stop. The family steps back to look. Dad pulls the post out and adjusts it. Sister holds one end. Mom steadies it. Dad hammers again. Their rhythm becomes steady. The fence grows section by section. The fence is complete. Little brother taps a post lightly. Tap, tap. Mom, Dad, and Sister smile with pride. As night falls, the sky begins to reveal its secrets. A comfortable seat makes observation easier. Little stars begin to appear. There are stars that always stay close together. Imagination transforms the sky into a story. Sometimes the sky sends a small gift. Silence helps us see more. A gentle night comes to a close. Bluey and Bingo found the treasure. Just turn away for a moment. The treasure moved. The treasure seemed to be teasing them. Every time they didn't look, the treasure moved. They decided to observe carefully. The treasure finally stayed still. Bandit decided to spend the morning tending to his garden. But as Bandit got busy working, little mischiefs began to appear. Just a slight lapse in concentration, and the whole garden was thrown into chaos. Bandit began to realize that babysitting and gardening at the same time wasn't simple at all.
Aha!
Sometimes, even the most endearing acts of help can lead to a little accident.
Hey!
But in the end, the most important thing is the laughter and the moments spent with family.
Oh no!
Today, the whole family planted a new tree. Everything looks fine.
Yay!
Oh!
Bandit feels something isn't quite right. The tree's name doesn't match its shape.
Oh!
It turns out the sign was stuck upside down. Just a little adjustment was all it took. The garden looks neat again. Sometimes you just need to look a little closer. One peaceful afternoon, a strange object appears in the yard. Just bring it close. Something strange happens. It's not always attraction. A new game is quickly devised. Adding more people makes the challenge harder. 3 different directions. The same invisible force. No touch needed. Everything moves. When the game stops, the curiosity remains. There are things unseen, but always there. The fish tank mistake. A fish tank sits neatly on a table. The fish swim happily. Dad sprinkles fish food carefully, nodding with satisfaction. Dad feeds the fish. Fish swim up excitedly. The kids press their faces to the glass, pointing. One day, Dad is busy. Mom picks up a white container that looks like fish food. Mom pours it into the tank. The water turns cloudy. Mom looks at the container again. Salt. Mom's eyes widen. The whole family springs into action. Dad gently moves the fish into a temporary bowl. Mom drains the tank. The kids carry buckets of water very seriously. Music speeds up slightly. Fresh water is poured in. The filter turns on. The fish are carefully returned to the tank. Everyone leans in, holding their breath. The fish start swimming again, happy and lively. The kids jump with joy. Dad exhales in relief. Mom smiles awkwardly and pats her chest. A rainy day changes all plans. But rain also brings interesting sounds. Bluey and Bingo try to imitate the rhythm of falling rain. Everything around us can become a musical instrument. When listening, everyone finds their own rhythm. No need for perfection, just together. Peaceful moments are always special. Even a rainy day has its own joy. Lost together, found together. Cleaning the old storage room morning. The back storage room door opens. The whole family stands in front of the room, filled with old boxes, covered items, and light cobwebs. Dad rolls up his sleeves and lifts a heavy box. Mom opens a notebook and quickly draws 3 sections. Keep, throw away, reuse. Sister opens an old box. An old toy car rolls out. Little brother's eyes go wide. The family looks at each other, then smiles. Quick, playful moments. Dad pushes the car. It hits a table leg and bounces back. Mom releases the car. It rolls in circles. Sister and brother fight over controlling it. Bump! Into an empty box. Everyone bursts out laughing. The storage room becomes brighter, cleaner, more open. The family sits down on the storage room floor. All let out a relieved sigh, smiling softly. The great cleanup battle morning. Mom stands in the middle of the living room, hands on her hips. She takes a deep breath, then gives a strong signal. Clean up! The whole family jumps. They look around at the piles of clutter. Dad takes the mop. Sister hugs a stack of clothes. Little brother drags a box of toys. Dad mops too hard. Water splashes onto the couch and the wall. Sister finishes folding. The stack tilts. Crash! Clothes spill everywhere. Little brother stuffs toys into the box. The box gets too full. Pop! Toys fly all over the floor. The family stands in the middle of the room, staring at the new chaos. Mom steps into the center, signals to start over. Everyone works in rhythm. The room gradually becomes tidy again. The living room is clean and bright. They look at one another, then burst out laughing. The final cake in the kitchen. The son and daughter stand on chairs in front of the counter. Flour, eggs, and milk are spread everywhere. The 2 kids look at each other and nod with determination. The cake comes out of the oven, looking a bit misshapen. They take a bite. Their faces scrunch up. The cake doesn't taste good. They look at each other, disappointed. Dad walks into the kitchen, rolls up his sleeves, looking very confident. He adds more ingredients and turns the oven up higher. Smoke starts to rise. The cake burns. The kitchen fills with smoke. The kids cover their noses. Dad scratches his head, embarrassed. Mom walks in, opens the window, and turns off the oven. She calmly tidies up the kitchen. Mom starts again from scratch. Measures the ingredients properly. Stirs. Gently sets the oven to the right temperature. The kids watch, eyes shining. The new cake comes out of the oven. Golden and fragrant. The whole family takes a bite. The kids' eyes light up as they nod again. And again, Dad gives a thumbs up. The whole family laughs.
Musical statues. Dad Bandit is about to start the music. Bluey and Bingo are ready for a high-stakes game of musical statues.
The music starts. The sisters dance wildly, soaking up every bit of the upbeat rhythm. Music stops! Bluey freezes instantly on one leg, trying her best not to let her tail wag.
Bingo wobbles a little, but manages to stay still. Dad walks around to check if any statue moves.
The music kicks in again, faster and funnier. The whole family dances, the room filled with silent laughter.
A day in the life of Bluey. Huh.
The Secret Breakfast. Mom is asleep in her bedroom. Dad, sister, and little brother stand outside the kitchen, exchanging a silent shh gesture. Dad fills the kettle with water and turns on the stove. Steam rises. Dad quickly lowers the heat, nervously glancing around. Sister places bread into the toaster. Little brother carries a tray of eggs to the table. One egg rolls. Crack! It falls. He hurriedly picks it up, wipes it clean, and quietly puts it back. The family sets the table together. Plates slightly crooked, tablecloth wrinkled. Toast a little burnt, water poured too full. Dad steps back, looking at everything. He nods proudly. The bedroom door opens. Mom steps out, still sleepy. She freezes. Her eyes move from the messy breakfast to her family standing behind it. Mom covers her mouth, eyes filling with tears. A warm, grateful smile appears. The family sits together at the table. The home cook-off. Mom is calmly cooking. Bluey and Bingo watch closely, eyes sparkling. Dad peeks in wearing an apron, upside down. Dad claps his hands excitedly, points at the counter, gestures, competition. Bluey and Bingo cheer silently, fists in the air. 3 chefs rush to grab ingredients. Bluey grabs everything at once, drops half of it. Bingo carefully selects just a few items. Dad secretly adds something strange, a toy carrot. Mom watches, amused. Dad tastes his dish, winces, adds more of the wrong ingredient. Each dish is placed on the table. Bluey's dish is huge and messy. Bingo's dish is tiny but neat. Dad's dish, slightly smoking. Mom raises an eyebrow. Mom tastes. Bluey's, surprised but impressed. Bingo's, eyes widen with delight. Dad's, long pause. Polite smile. Quick sip of water. Bluey and Bingo giggle. Mom points to all 3 dishes, gives a thumbs up. The family sits together, sharing food. Dad secretly swaps his plate with Bluey's. Cleaning the old storage room morning. The back storage room door opens. The whole family stands in front of the room, filled with old boxes, covered items, and light cobwebs. Dad rolls up his sleeves and lifts a heavy box. Mom opens a notebook and quickly draws 3 sections. Keep, throw away, reuse. Sister opens an old box. An old toy car rolls out. Little brother's eyes go wide. The family looks at each other, then smiles. Quick, playful moments. Dad pushes the car. It hits a table leg and bounces back. Mom releases the car. It rolls in circles. Sister and brother fight over controlling it. Bump! Into an empty box. Everyone bursts out laughing. The storage room becomes brighter, cleaner, more open. The family sits down on the storage room floor. All let out a relieved sigh, smiling softly. A quiet afternoon begins with a curious idea. A treasure map doesn't need to be accurate to be exciting. The adventurer appears, ready for the adventure in the room. A plan is drawn up with imagination and excitement.
Sir, yes, sir!
Following the map, sometimes there will be wrong turns. Knowing when to stop and observe helps find the right path.
Come on, let's go.
Huh? The treasure seems very close ahead. Not all treasures are gold or silver, but there's still plenty of fun. joy comes from sharing the rewards together. With imagination, any room can become an adventure. After the first harvest, the whole family had a new idea. Vegetables from the little garden are ready to go into the kitchen. Preparing to cook is also a fun part. It doesn't need to be perfect, just try. Cooking always has unexpected moments. Homegrown vegetables have a very special taste. Meals taste better when they are made together. From the little garden to a happy meal. A peaceful morning began when Chili left the house, leaving Bandit to look after the two children. But behind those innocent eyes lay a mischievous plan. Bandit carefully gave instructions. But as soon as he turned away for a moment, everything changed. In the kitchen, one problem after another arose. Bandit was both worried and confused, trying to keep everything under control. But it seemed this task was harder than he thought. Before Bandit could breathe a sigh of relief, a new problem appeared in an unexpected place. From outside, the whole house became more chaotic than ever before. When Chili returned, everything was over. Despite his exhaustion, Bandit completed his task. And sometimes just a smile is enough to dispel all the chaos. The memory box. A quiet afternoon. A small box sits in the center of the table. A handwritten label on the outside reads, "Memories." Dad looks around and gently opens a drawer. He takes out an old key, worn by time. Smiling softly, he places it into the box. Mom stands by the shelf. She takes a neatly folded old photograph, gently smooths the corner, then places it into the box. Sister runs back to her room. She brings out a slightly worn hair ribbon. She looks at it for a moment longer, then puts it in. Little brother quietly bends down to the floor. He picks up a small, scratched toy, nods to himself, and places it into the box. The whole family sits in a circle. The box is placed in the middle. Dad opens the lid. The first item is taken out. Everyone looks at each other, pointing, guessing. As each item appears, surprised gestures, soft nods, gentle laughter. As the items are laid back on the table, the family sits closer together. Bluey arrived at the beach with a big idea. Bluey began preparing the sand to build a sandcastle. The first sandcastle appeared. Bluey wanted his sandcastle to be even bigger. The sandcastle began to take on a clearer shape. Bingo also joined in to help build the sandcastle. Bluey found more decorations for the sandcastle. The sandcastle became very beautiful and special. The approaching waves made Bluey a little nervous.
Oh no!
The sandcastle was more carefully protected. Bluey was very proud of his sandcastle. Even a simple beach outing can bring great joy.
Shooting star.
The night has fallen. Bluey and Bandit settle down for a quiet evening on the veranda after a long day of play.
Bluey gazes up at the twinkling stars, and suddenly she points an excited finger towards the sky.
A brilliant, swift streak of light, a shooting star, flies across the dark night sky. Both dad and daughter watch it pass.
Bluey turns to look at her dad, her eyes wide with surprise and a little bit of wonder. Bandit gently pulls Bluey into a warm hug. Bluey closes her eyes, keeping her silent wish completely private. She opens them, giving a look of pure contentment. Bandit tightens his hug, savoring the special moment.
Bluey and Bingo were preparing for a treasure hunt. But the weather had other plans. The treasure map started changing. The whole family decided to follow the new map. But the treasure didn't appear. Maybe they misunderstood. The treasure was right where they started. Sometimes the treasure doesn't go anywhere. It's just that the map got wet. Secret gift box. After a night of gentle breeze, the garden was full of dry leaves. Bluey thought of a way to utilize these leaves. Bluey prepared a place to collect the dry leaves. Dry leaves were collected from many different corners.
Oh!
Bingo also helped collect the leaves. Dry leaves were collected from many different corners. A little water helped the dry leaves decompose faster. Bluey didn't leave a single leaf behind. The compost bin was ready. Compost will help the plants in the garden grow faster. Everything in the garden is useful. Today's dry leaves will become nutrients for tomorrow's plants.
Uninvited guest. The two fighters are in a meditative state, but wait, their radar has detected a target. Target landed, right in the forbidden zone, the wet nose. The whirlwind tactic failed. The intruders redirected their attack towards Mother. A passive attempt at shaking off attention. The ears are working at full capacity. They both decided to work together. Oh no! Serious traffic accident at the intersection. They decided to escalate the tension. The Clap with the Meatball campaign was activated. Is the war over or not? It seems this uninvited guest is still very stubborn. Sometimes, before doing anything, both parties should discuss a plan beforehand. That was a perfect catch. Great job, Bluey. After all their efforts, the mother and daughter finally won against this uninvited guest.
Night camping. Late afternoon, still bright daylight. The family loads camping gear into the car. Tent, bags, flashlight. The kids bounce excitedly. Dad gives a confident thumbs up.
Let's go!
Mom smiles. Dad and Mom set up the tent. The kids help hold poles and pegs. The tent is finally finished. The sky turns dark. The forest becomes quiet. Leaves rustle in the wind. The kids press close to Mom and Dad. Dad swallows nervously. Mom looks around, uneasy. A small noise from the bushes. Everyone freezes. Dad switches on the flashlight. Its beam shakes. Just a bug. No danger. But nobody relaxes. The family looks at each other. Mom gently shakes her head. Dad nods very quickly. The kids immediately run back toward the car. The tent stands alone behind them. After trimming the trees, a corner of the garden brightened up. This is the perfect place for a change. It doesn't work just anywhere. A little trial and error is necessary.
Hey!
Just turn it in the right direction. The garden corner began to come alive. Even a small corner can bring great joy. The house became warmer from simple changes. Building a small fence. A cool morning, the whole family stands in front of an empty patch of yard. Dad pulls out a measuring tape to check the spacing. Mom marks the spots with white chalk. Sister and little brother line up the short wooden posts. Dad grabs a hammer and drives in the first post. Thud, thud. Firm and steady. Mom holds the post, checking the balance by eye. She nods to signal it's good. Sister passes over a wooden plank. Little brother runs back and forth, handing over nails. Thud! The post tilts slightly. Mom raises her hand to stop. The family steps back to look. Dad pulls the post out and adjusts it. Sister holds one end. Mom steadies it. Dad hammers again. Their rhythm becomes steady. The fence grows section by section. The fence is complete. Little brother taps a post lightly. Tap, tap. Mom, Dad, and Sister smile with pride. Bluey is preparing to plant a new tree in the garden. Before planting, the soil needs to be carefully prepared. Bluey starts with the dry soil in the garden. Each corner of the garden has a different type of soil. Bingo also wants to help prepare the soil. Bluey mixes the soil thoroughly. A little water helps to soften the soil. The soil looks looser and more ready. Bluey checks if the soil is just right. The soil is ready for the new tree. Everything is ready. A healthy tree starts from carefully prepared soil. Broken window. A calm afternoon. A balloon floats gently in the air. The younger brother takes a run up and throws the balloon high. The balloon clips the edge of the window. Crash! The glass shatters, shards clinking as they scatter across the floor. The whole family freezes. Dad puts on gloves, carefully gathering each piece of glass. Mom lays down a large sheet of cardboard to cover the floor. The sister passes tape and a small broom. The younger brother hands over a cleaning cloth, stepping lightly. The last shard is placed into the bin. The family exhales in relief. Dad lifts the new glass panel, his hands slightly trembling. Mom holds the window frame, eyes focused. The glass slides perfectly into place. Dad tightens the screws. Mom checks the seal along the edges. Sunlight pours through the new window. The family looks at one another and smiles.
Paperman team. Welcome back to the secret base, bathroom. Today, Bluey and Bingo have a super difficult challenge. Transform into the Paperman squad.
Wow!
Bingo is in position. She's about to step into the transforming machine. Are you ready? Bluey's design team is getting to work. Each pristine white sheet of paper is forming a super armor suit. Wow, that looks so professional.
Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness, a technical glitch. The roll of paper is flying everywhere. Both sisters are stuck in this mess. It's impossible to untangle, and the more you try, the more tangled it gets. Look, now they look more like two giant snowballs than superheroes. Come on, guys. Target spotted. It's Dad Bandit. Get ready to activate Super Scare Mode. 3, 2, 1. Boom! Ha ha ha! Dad was so scared. Mission to scare him was a resounding success. Yeah. But wait. The final boss, Mother Chili, has appeared. Oh no, who's going to clean up this mess now?
These familiar toys have been here for a long time. It's time to take care of them. Every toy needs gentle treatment.
Nah.
Chili teaches how to fix the little things. Repairing is also a way of showing love. Old toys look like new. The memories are still there. They just need to be cared for. Old toys bring new joy. One peaceful afternoon, the yard suddenly becomes an imaginary world. From simple drawings, an adventure begins. The path grows longer and longer, and the rules of the game gradually take shape. When adults appear, the challenge becomes more interesting. The rules are simple, but not easy at all. The joy comes from the near falls. When the whole family joins in, the path has no end. The game ends, but the traces remain. A gentle breeze blows through. The game concludes. Snowman.
Whoa!
2 hours later.
Making a small shelter for a cat. A gentle afternoon. A lost cat curls up under the porch roof. Dad bends down, using his hand to shield the cat from the rain. Mom looks at the sky, looks at the cat, nods with an idea. Dad brings out a large cardboard box. Mom lays a soft old cloth inside. Sister holds the box. Little brother passes the string and tape. Dad adds an extra cardboard layer at the bottom. Mom places the shelter close to the wall, away from the wind. Sister sets a small bowl of water in front. Little brother tiptoes over, gently placing a small towel inside. The whole family steps back, squatting down to watch. The cat walks closer, sniffs the entrance, pokes its head in, then crawls all the way inside. The cat curls up, lying still. The family looks at one another and smiles. Trick backfires. Mom is cleaning the floor, fully focused. Bluey and Bingo peek from behind the couch, exchanging mischievous grins. Bluey draws a simple trap plan on a piece of paper. Bingo nods excitedly and gives a silent thumbs up. They shake hands in agreement. Fast, funny montage. A string is tied to a chair. A pillow is placed up high. A small paper X is stuck on a slippery spot. The girls step back, admiring their work. Mom walks closer. The girls hold their breath, covering their mouths. Mom pauses, looks around suspiciously. Mom pretends not to notice and calmly walks around the trap. Suddenly, she gently pulls the string. The pillow drops, right onto Bluey and Bingo. The girls tumble to the floor, surprised but unharmed. Mom stands with hands on her hips, smiling victoriously. Bluey and Bingo look at each other, embarrassed, then hide their faces. Mom pulls both girls into a warm hug. They all laugh together. Dad peeks in, accidentally steps on the leftover trap and slips slightly. Everyone bursts into laughter. Night camping. Late afternoon, still bright daylight. The family loads camping gear into the car. Tent, bags, flashlight. The kids bounce excitedly. Dad gives a confident thumbs up.
Let's go!
Mom smiles. Dad and Mom set up the tent. The kids help hold poles and pegs. The tent is finally finished. The sky turns dark. The forest becomes quiet. Leaves rustle in the wind. The kids press close to Mom and Dad. Dad swallows nervously. Mom looks around, uneasy. A small noise from the bushes. Everyone freezes. Dad switches on the flashlight. Its beam shakes. Just a bug. No danger. But nobody relaxes. The family looks at each other. Mom gently shakes her head. Dad nods very quickly. The kids immediately run back toward the car. The tent stands alone behind them. 5 minutes at the beach, sunny beach. The family arrives with arms full of gear. Tent, mat, beach bag. The kid bounces with excitement. Dad carefully sets up the beach tent. Mom spreads out the mat and arranges items neatly. The kid stares at the ocean, eyes sparkling. The moment Mom and Dad turn away, the kid runs straight into the water. A strong gust of wind blows. The tent flips and flies. The mat slides across the sand. Dad chases the flying tent. Mom grabs the mat. They exchange panicked looks. Cut back to the kid, still playing joyfully in the waves, waving happily at Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad look toward the water, worried but amused. The kid runs up from the water and hugs them. Night camping. Late afternoon, still bright daylight. The family loads camping gear into the car. Tent, bags, flashlight. The kids bounce excitedly. Dad gives a confident thumbs up.
Let's go!
Mom smiles. Dad and Mom set up the tent. The kids help hold poles and pegs. The tent is finally finished. The sky turns dark. The forest becomes quiet. Leaves rustle in the wind. The kids press close to Mom and Dad. Dad swallows nervously. Mom looks around, uneasy. A small noise from the bushes. Everyone freezes. Dad switches on the flashlight. Its beam shakes. Just a bug. No danger. But nobody relaxes. The family looks at each other. Mom gently shakes her head. Dad nods very quickly. The kids immediately run back toward the car. The tent stands alone behind them. Trick backfires. Mom is cleaning the floor, fully focused. Bluey and Bingo peek from behind the couch, exchanging mischievous grins. Bluey draws a simple trap plan on a piece of paper. Bingo nods excitedly and gives a silent thumbs up. They shake hands in agreement. Fast, funny montage. A string is tied to a chair. A pillow is placed up high. A small paper X is stuck on a slippery spot. The girls step back, admiring their work. Mom walks closer. The girls hold their breath, covering their mouths. Mom pauses, looks around suspiciously. Mom pretends not to notice and calmly walks around the trap. Suddenly, she gently pulls the string. The pillow drops, right onto Bluey and Bingo. The girls tumble to the floor, surprised but unharmed. Mom stands with hands on her hips, smiling victoriously. Bluey and Bingo look at each other, embarrassed, then hide their faces. Mom pulls both girls into a warm hug. They all laugh together. Dad peeks in, accidentally steps on the leftover trap and slips slightly. Everyone bursts into laughter. Sometimes, things that seem worthless can unlock new joys. An empty box could be anything. A little clumsiness is essential. With help, things become easier. From simple pieces, a toy is born. A homemade toy always brings a special feeling. When imagination leads the way, play becomes vibrant. Every little stroke makes the toy more adorable. When you know how to reuse and create, joy always begins with simple things. A fresh morning is perfect for the whole family to do some light exercise. Warming up prepares the body for the activities that follow. Everyone has their own way of exercising, but they're all lovely. Gentle exercise makes the body feel more relaxed.
Oh!
No need to compare because everyone has their own pace. Breathing evenly helps to improve mood. Simple exercise is enough to bring positive energy. Drinking water after exercise is a very important habit. Moments of rest help the body recover better. Starting the day with light exercise helps the whole family stay healthy and happy. relaxing afternoon, Chili took the kids shopping. For Bluey and Bingo, every trip is full of fun. Shopping is also a way to learn how to help. Not everything needs to be brought home. Everything has its own order. Helping each other with small things makes everyone happy. The trip wasn't long, but it was full of experiences. Simple things make a day meaningful.